All right. Welcome, everyone. Thank you for being here again at the Werewolf Technical Steering Committee meeting. It is the 17th of September. And this is our discussion agenda so far. A few things, but also a lot of what's going on in the 465 release. Um, anything I did throw without checking with Ian, this thing about the status of Debian packaging. Looks like he's not here today, so I might kick that down to the future if we don't get it, or if he doesn't arrive before then. Um, but anything else that we need to add to our agenda before we get started?
Uh, the Can you add the API kicked in today?
This one, the tags for overlays,
Yeah, I just what do you think of it?
it's already here. I wanted to talk about it too.
Hmm.
So, first thing I have on here, Rose will want to talk about this more when she's able to join. She's away at a conference or something today, so not able to talk about the Werewolf user group. But for those who were, I wanted to see if we had any feedback about how it went and any changes or recommendations for next time. And we can bring those same comments and recommendations back when Rose is back. But in the interest of getting them out while it's as fresh as possible. Anyone have any opinions on how it went?
I just said I thought it went good. I liked it.
Okay.
Good
I
information.
I got positive feedback.
A lot of my a lot of the team I work with attended and had positive feedback.
Oh,
Okay.
cool.
Yeah, especially who was it? Josh's presentation.
Josh Burks, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, there was a lot of good information in there and a lot of ways to just think about doing things.
Any thoughts on who we might ask to speak next or topics that we would like to cover in that central section in the future? I know Josh threw out some suggestions, but we also don't want to just always expect him to have something to show us.
one request. Is it possible to record the
Meetings, or at least the presentation portion of the meeting.
So it is definitely possible. The suggestion was to not record them in hopes that people would be more willing to speak up and participate if they were not um, if they were not being recorded.
I'm just going through my
Notes here that from things that people have sent me.
Okay.
And the only other request was more info on disk provisioning.
Okay.
Yeah, that was where my interest was as well.
I expect that will happen. That was the fallback presentation that I was going to give if we didn't find someone with something about disks. I am also going to be presenting that at a very high level at the HPC SysPros workshop at SC this year. Um, so that was also part of why I haven't just recorded it and put it online already, as I didn't want to undermine that presentation. But I might do something now that it's accepted, and that thing is higher level than digging into the technical stuff anyway.
So after SC, you are going to go ahead and put put something like that in the YouTube.
Um, so at SC um there will be a high level like, hey, this is a thing, please stop complaining that it doesn't exist
Some of us
level
don't get to go
presentation.
there.
Yeah. And then perhaps before that, but definitely after that, I'll record something that's really in depth that's just setting it up, talking about it, and how it works and limitations and things like that.
That would
I
be
might do it
nice.
before, but I'll definitely have done it after if not.
Yeah, even though I don't imagine us doing, jumping on that immediately, I do see down the pipeline where that's going to be useful for us, and
Yeah.
just to,
Great. All right, we don't have to belabor this too much, and of course we'll bring it up again next or in 2 weeks when Rose is back with us. But continue thinking about it, ways to. Uh, I would love to see kind of maybe just a little bit more discussion and participation, but maybe I'm just being cynical. Maybe it was great, and I should just be grateful for what it was. But I also want to make sure we are equipping Rose with. A, a backlog of people that might be willing to present in that meeting and have it not always be one of the technical steering committee. So and it wasn't this past time. It was great. Very thankful to Josh for giving a presentation. So the next thing is maybe just a question I should have just asked Christian in Slack, but is there any chance that SUSE, I mean, is SUSE going to be at ISC
No,
the next time they're not at all. Okay. Then
no,
that
no,
answers
no.
that question. Okay. And to be clear, I mean ISC, not SC, ISC in Germany in Hamburg.
Both not.
Okay. Well, that nixes that. There are people at CIQ that are trying to get me to attend ISC next year, and I'm supportive. But one thing that I thought would encourage that is if we could be coordinating on a BOF.
Yeah, yeah. I don't think we are at the IC next year.
Okay. Well, done and done then. A member of CIQ, Cedric, people here might know him. He was working on Singularity and Aptainer a bunch before. Um, he has been looking into working more on Warewulf, and in so doing, was concerned that there is not the ability to do full stack integration testing that starts up instances and runs things against them and makes sure that that works. So I pointed him to an issue where we have asked for in the past the vagrant instructions, which I think have still been part of the docs and are just outdated and don't work. I
Yeah.
pointed him at that and said, hey, it'd be great if those could just be updated. And so he started working on that. Christian, I know you expressed concern about using Alpine
That's
as
not really
the.
concerns. It's more or less if we start, I don't see the advantage of using the Alpine containers there because they
Okay.
just, I know they are smaller, but if they are running somewhere in the background, we shouldn't care about this. And it's much more useful to test them on the real enterprise Linux and SUSE. So because then we or Debian, because then we really see what's going on. It would kind of, I'm a bit afraid that we see, okay, the integration test is passing, but it still fails on the user side
So what
because
is it accurate if I take the note that having Alpine is not a problem, but we should also have the tests for the
right,
real ones?
yeah,
Okay.
yeah. Then if you test it also for the other stuff, then we know, yeah. Just that if you start testing it on something, then you are kind of your code kind of converges
Yeah,
to that platform, and we don't want to converge to Alpine at the moment.
agreed.
That's the only. That's how I would say that.
Great. I have it on my to-do list to go and review this. Right now, it's written in such a way that only works on Linux, which is fine, except for I don't have a Linux workstation to run it on. So I wanted to see how hard it would be to get it running where it would either run on Linux or run with the Vagrant provider for VMware, which is what I do have access to here. And that's my goal for doing a review towards an approval. But of course, anyone else that wants to look at this and see whether they like it or think it's good, feel free. But that's my to-do list for it. Any other discussion or questions or comments on that process? All right, so that brings us to the current status of v465, which includes some pull requests. So I'm going to pull these up.
Yeah, if I can share my screen for short,
Oh
then I
yeah,
can show you what it's doing. Yeah, okay, let's try
sounds great.
that.
That was explicitly like I love the end result. My quick skim of it this morning, I was not certain how it was deriving the information. So I would love to know more about that.
It should be that one. No, that one. Does it come up?
Yes.
Yeah, that's the old. So if you do a profile list, then you would see that one. And now, if you add the L option, there's another. And there is now. Let's see, make that bigger. Perhaps you will see it here. There's now another a line which just goes through all the vars and the template files, passes them all through, and then that you immediately see, okay, if I want to use a template, I have to define some tags. It doesn't get all the tags we need, but at least some. For example, if we go to that one, there we even need more tags are used, but it just should give you a hint because if we go in a template, um, we know that all the values of nodes are kind of defined, but not which text you need. And if you then would build that overlay, it would fail. So that was just the idea here about it. I hoped it would come out better, but yeah, that's the
So
whole point about it.
is it just string parsing the template, or is it getting out of some data structure where Golang has interpreted the template and then it can tell you what variables it's going to reference?
It's really interpreting the template. No, oh, I got to go. That one. Um, that's here the parse tree. You really there is a function which then really parses the so where you could get access to the different nodes of a template, then it passes through, and then as soon as I find that a field node, I look if the variable has a text, then I know it's something which is
I
set.
see.
Yeah,
Okay,
it's a
cool.
bit tricky. If you would remove that strings contain here, then you would get really all variables which are used, but could also be useful. I don't know, I'm undecided a bit. I, the main problem is we can go back here. If here should be some other comment. For example, if you see here that DNS, we couldn't catch that because it's after the regapps match. So we really have to interpret the template that you would see, okay, I need a DNS kind of
Right,
variable.
because it's not actually looking like it's yeah, I
Yeah.
got you. It doesn't know it's a variable. It's like get arging it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the thing would be perhaps that we other approach, if you want to try that, would say we do it more like the like you export JSON or YAML in Go, that you would then have if it, for example, finds after such a node a comment, that is comment is then here printed out in the output, but I think that's too complicated.
So my biggest concern is just that it's making the output really wide and variably wide. I wonder how would you feel about like an overlay get vars or something like that, like its own command for it.
Yeah, that would also be. We could also, if you come up there with a proper solution, we can also implement it that way. It was just for the starting to see
Yeah.
how it really
People
looks
have been
like and
asking
what
for
we
this.
get.
They ask all the time, how do I know what variables this template uses? I think I would be in favor of
Yeah,
not
that's
only
so.
reporting
Yeah,
tags.
if we can even compile it here. Wait a moment. So if we comment that line, compile it. Takes a moment. Yeah, then now you see all the variables.
Or I think maybe you need to. I'm not seeing, I think, what you're intending.
Yeah. The last line.
I think it might be cut off.
No?
Oh, okay. Yeah, now I see it. Okay.
Yeah. Perhaps I also I'm a bit unsure what's better. Perhaps you could then say, okay, this TK and TV,
Yeah.
$TV and $TK, these are internal defined variables, but we could parse them out and say, yeah, they must have a dot before. So it has prefix dot or something like this. Then you would just really see the variables which are read in the template.
Right. We'd need a way to deal with like that there's work to do because that would filter out the netdev.tags also because that's not rooted at the context.
Yeah, okay. They need at least one dot inside the variable.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, got you. Yeah.
I think
Yeah,
I
but
think this is really cool.
yeah, I was hoping it. I was really hoping that it's easier, and it's not. I don't like the idea, but I like the idea, but I don't see a proper implementation for that. The only thing what I was also thinking is that it also, for example, prints out. We have some templates which create multiple files.
Mm,
That we also say, okay, beware, this is a zombie template or something like this. It's a creepy template, or how would you call it? Yeah, a multi-name template would be
yeah.
the right term here.
Was someone else gonna say something, Jeremy? Was that maybe you?
Nope.
Oh, okay. Well, cool. Awesome.
That is was more. The thing is, it's because what always bugged me was when you interpret a template, it tells you, yeah, it doesn't find a variable, and it's
Mhm.
not kind of, and this and even our when you write templates, you often get that feeling, yeah, I don't know what's inside, and that's what I wanted. Perhaps I'm, yeah, that's the whole point. Perhaps
Yeah.
even then here have some special thing here that perhaps our func map that you could also write some small documentation about the template.
Yeah. Yeah. But and if we make a separate command for it, then that would be
Yeah.
a really straightforward place to show that documentation too. Then if we started having like magic comments at the top or something like
Yeah,
that.
yeah. I just searched the internet yesterday evening, and I just need some comment to hook that in, and that was the list comment. It was not really that I'm absolutely convinced that it has to stay there.
Yeah.
The
Sure.
only thing I really want to have that we know it's the side or not side overlay. That's really important information because then you know, okay, I modified it or I don't modified it. I modified it or not. So
Oh, if it is a site. Yeah, no, I got what you're saying.
yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay,
Cool.
that's all from my side.
There is this other PR that has been kind of being discussed actively in the development or maybe the help channel in Slack. I brought this up mostly to ask Ian about this comment here, but since Ian is not here today, I will just bug him about that on Slack. Let's look at what else is in the release. So this is that test environment. This is the net plan thing. This is Christians, and then there's this other. This is just a bug fix. Um, if you tell Werewolf client to operate in secure mode, um, it always uses the same port. But then if you stop it and start it again, that port might still be in time wait from before. And so it doesn't crash. It actually sits there and waits until the port becomes available. But this is just a relatively minor fix. to tell it it's okay to reuse that port again, and then does a little bit better cleanup when it does close. And this came up because in 4.6.4, we added a once option to Warewulf client that just runs the overlay once and then shuts down. And so now it's more uh, when using that, you get into this situation where Werewolf client ran and then stopped. And so I was noticing this more often. So if someone wouldn't mind reviewing that at some point, it should be straightforward, and it's been through a number of iterations with a language model. So I think it's good. But you know, it is not in the ability to test that is not in CI/CD. So it should have some manual review. So that is there's other things here. Tim, you have a couple issues in here. Is there stuff to talk about with these? I haven't looked at them in particular detail, though we may have discussed them before.
What issues are those? I don't recall right now.
So add provisioning interface to DNS mask template and set up TFTP boot directory.
Yeah. Kind of we're hoping to get those in for Werewolf. Sorry, OpenHPC 4.
Yeah.
They're not stoppers, but that's something that would take some development. It's not a lot of development, but
Yeah. Yeah, I expect this is relatively straightforward. But yeah, I think this one we can probably just create this directory if it does not exist when doing this, like you said. And yeah, I think we discussed this before. It just needs to be done.
yeah, correct. We discussed where it should go into var lib or whatever the shared state directory is, and where
Right.
CFTP, and then set the appropriate SE Linux settings for it.
Yep. Okay. So we're shaping up with a relatively small release here. I think if we are able to get these two in at the very least, then that would motivate actually cutting a 4.6.5 at the end of the month, or early in the next. Without that, I was going to ask whether we want to forego a release for a month, but I think that would be enough motivation to do it, to better enable the OHPC team and integration of those updates into OHPC 4. Here is our kind of backlog of stuff that is nominally 4.6x, things that could be in a 4.6 release, but is not currently slated for a specific one. Is there anything in here that people are opinionated about that we should try and get into a 4.6.5? I'm thinking not so far, but you know, we got time. So if there is something, don't hesitate to drag it into the 4.6.5 milestone or let me know and I can do that.
Just as a general comment, I think
Yeah.
getting Deb support for building it in the CI/CD pipeline for Werewolf I think would be good.
Yes. Is there?
I think it's time. That's all. It's just a gut feeling.
Yeah. I agree. That is, I mean, with it being down here, that was where I was going to ask Ian how things are with that. I know he's been working on it, but I do not know what the current status of it is. But yes, we should
I'm
prioritize
guessing
it. Does OpenHPC support Deb or anything like that? Okay, so it is good to have, but it's not a blocker or motivator there. Okay. I didn't think so, but
and it should be
yes.
relatively easy. I think the strategy should be just to package as a Go binary call it a day. Don't put any dependencies or anything like that on it, and it'll be robust to various number of distributions that use Deb.
I just have literally no experience building a deb yet, so it's been easy for me to defer that to Ian will figure it out.
I have a bit of experience, so, and I have I just, with that last PR you asked me to review, I got my Debian Warewulf test rig up and running again, so.
Nice. All right. And that's everything on the agenda. Anything else that we need to discuss, or we could call it early?
Oh, that's okay. Can you, what we talked about, can you add this to the PR? That we need a separate
Yeah.
comment and perhaps come find up with a name for it.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah.
In fact, since we have a moment, I'll go ahead and do that right now.
Okay, then see you.
Yeah, in another couple weeks, our next meeting is scheduled for the 1st
First,
of October.
1st of October. Yeah. Should be
So
fun.
we'll see you all there. Thanks as always.
Bye.
See you later.